Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining today. I'm Cindy Edgerly, and along with Molly Schneider over on the left there, we are the co-founders of Well Together, a coaching practice dedicated to your wellness. So today I'm going to talk about adaptability, something I've been thinking about quite a lot lately. Few of us can say that we have ever been more stretched or been thrown more curveballs than we have over the past year. For many of us, it seems like we have been bent into a pretzel day after day, just trying to cope with everything coming at us in terms of changes and challenges brought on by the pandemic. Although there are a number of factors that we've been hearing about that have definitely impacted how people have been faring over the past year, like underlying health conditions, age, race, financial situation, and most of which are beyond our control. But there is one factor that we haven't heard that much about, and it's actually pretty significant, and that is adaptability. And lately, I've just been wondering, why do some of us have more difficulty adjusting to change than others? When I think about adaptability, I think about a positive personality trait or characteristic. And as with anything, there are definitely people who more naturally are able to adapt and others who really have to work on it. And I tend to think of myself as pretty adaptable. I've moved more times than I can count. I moved my family across the country when I was 6 months pregnant with my second daughter. And I won't say it was easy, but ultimately I was really happy with the move and still am. But I've come to to realize that I actually do enjoy change. But change, when it's your choice, is one thing, but when it's imposed upon you, as it has been over the past year with the pandemic, is quite another. So, how do we gain some control in the midst of a situation where so much that's going on is beyond our control? There's ample research to tell us that about 1/3 of people are just naturally more inclined to adapt easily and move forward when faced with change or adversity, while the majority of us struggle or even crumble under those circumstances. So, does this mean that those who aren't naturally more adaptive can't become more so? And how adaptable do we really want to be anyway? Are we compromising our principles if we adapt too much? How do we bend and stretch without breaking? I suppose it makes sense to first talk about what adaptability is and what it isn't. So, the ability to shift direction in response to changing circumstances can be a significant strength and is actually one of the most important soft skills that a person can have, particularly in the workplace. Employers are becoming more and more focused on hiring highly adaptive employees who can grow and develop in their role, benefiting not only their careers, but also the companies that they work for. And adaptability is important in our interpersonal relationships as well. Consider, for example, how often we hear about couples drifting apart, or growing apart. Perhaps one person has embraced change and the other, kind of wants to stay the status quo, wants to stay where things were. And we know also that people who tend to be kind of set in their ways have more difficulty starting and maintaining relationships. So it's Important to note that healthy adaptability is not letting go of your core self. It's not bending and twisting to fit the image of, for example, a partner's ideal mate. It's not following, in any direction your boss or your coworkers lead you, ignoring what you know to be an effective way of operating, for example. And it's not compromising your principles or stepping so far out of your comfort zone that you, well, break. True adaptability is holding on to your core self, your principles, while having the courage and the confidence to make the changes necessary to propel yourself forward, to not just survive, but to thrive in the face of change or even adversity, such as a corporate downsizing, a divorce, even a pandemic. In 1974, while at the University of Chicago, Salvatore Maddi, a psychologist and current professor emeritus at Harvard, began a fascinating 12-year study of adaptability in his quest to understand the inner workings of creative people. He partnered with then Ma Bell executive Carl Horn to study hundreds of people employed at the Illinois branch of the company just before what would ultimately become known as the Ma Bell breakup. What they found was that the majority of the workers struggled and faced problems in their mental and physical health as well as in their relationships, and never could quite get themselves back on track or their careers. Interestingly, they found that about 1/3 of the employees actually found their way to as good as, and in some cases better, lives and careers post the breakup of Ma Bell. So what they found was that, quote, the people in the adaptive third were different. Rather than trying to make sense of what they had done to deserve this experience, they tried to make sense of what they could do now that it had occurred. They concluded that it might be the single greatest lesson of adaptation. Instead of asking why bad things happen to good people, adaptive people turn that timeless riddle on its head and ask, what can good people do when bad things happen? So, what can we learn from this? Even if we don't naturally tend to think this way, looking forward as opposed to backward, if we know the ingredients of adaptability, we can build them. So let's get started. If you already have the adaptability trait or have developed those skills, congratulations. For those of you who haven't or who want to strengthen your skills, it's important to first identify where you are on the adaptability spectrum. At one end, perhaps you are a true creature of habit. Um, you've never moved, you only have a few restaurants that you like, certain meals that you'll order from that restaurant, very predictable schedule, things like that. Most of us are kind of in the middle. We all have our comfort zones and perhaps occasionally step out of them. But wherever you are on that spectrum, consider what would feel like a small but manageable step towards more adaptability. It may just be adding a new restaurant to your list or ordering, a different meal from your favorite takeout place. But what's important to know is where you are and then start making small, gradual changes. Think about physical flexibility, stretching your muscles. It does hurt at the beginning, but with practice and persistence, it gets easier. Eventually, you're lunging and doing the splits effortlessly all over the place. Evaluate how it feels. Was it a hit for you? Did you find something or someplace new that you love? Or was it a miss? However it went, credit yourself with taking a risk and know that you can do it again. Consider what other positive outcomes there were. If it didn't provoke an intolerable level of anxiety, do it again and perhaps aim bigger next time. If it did, sit with that. Consider possible explanations for it and recognize that it is something you can overcome. with really small steps. It's impossible to talk about adaptability without considering curiosity. Curiosity drives us to try new things, meet new people, and generally helps us grow and evolve as individuals. Are you curious? How do you channel your curiosity? What benefits have you experienced as a result of your curiosity? When my daughter, who is a very picky eater, doesn't want to try something new, I remind her that at one point, all the foods that she does like were new to her. And if she had never tried them, she wouldn't get to enjoy all the foods that she enjoys now. So sometimes we just need to be reminded of our experiences with trying new things because we all have them. And that helps us get more comfortable, you know, trying more. Awareness is key here, as well as the ability to self-reflect and take risks. Acceptance plays an important role as well. The Ma Bell employees who were able to accept the fact that the company was changing or breaking up were able to move on and enjoy future success, whereas the others were stuck looking back and wondering about what went wrong and wishing things could be just kept as they were. Intentionally building our adaptability skills allows us to gain some control in situations in which we have very little. So, how will you strengthen and flex your flexibility? If this is something you'd like to work on, we at Well Together are definitely here to support you. Please reach out. We love hearing from you. If you've gotten anything out of this, please give us a comment down below or a like. Check out our website. We are at welltogether.com, and keep looking for our videos. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Stay well.